Tonight on Connecticut's news station, tragedy on the field. A high school student dies during practice. And now renewed calls for more safety for our student athletes.
And remembering fallen officers, a community coming together to honor Lieutenant Dustin DeMonte and Sergeant Alex Hamzy with the new memorial garden. And a search for stolen cars taken from a local dealership. Employees are calling these thieves clever. Take a look at the clues into what happened. Plus, the House Speaker search could almost be over. Who Republicans want to take over for Kevin McCarthy after he was ousted.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez.
A place to see their names etched in stone. Tomorrow marks 1 year since Bristol lost 2 of its officers in the line of duty. And now the city is unveiling one of the first places where the community can come together to honor their lives and reflect on that solemn day. Fox 61's Samaya Hernandez is at St. Joe Cemetery, where a memorial garden was dedicated just hours ago.
2 beloved defenders of the law that gave their lives for the city of Bristol. That is the message on stone behind me that now rests where everyone can honor them and remember their names. Officers don't shy from saying their names.
We say it a lot to remember them and honor them and say their names.
Lieutenant Dustin DeMonte and Sergeant Alex Hamzy, names etched in stone along memorial benches, an emotional sight for fellow officers.
Seeing kind of one of the first memorials and seeing their names set in stone.
Thursday marking 1 year since one of Bristol's darkest days, when DeMonte and Hamzy were ambushed while responding to a domestic dispute between siblings on Redstone Hill Road. Local businesses donating time and resources to unveil this memorial garden Wednesday at St. Joseph's Cemetery.
To see it in stone, it means a lot, and it gives us somewhere to be able to come and think about them and talk to them and remember them.
A loss still raw in this central Connecticut city. Family, brothers and sisters in blue, and residents turning up in droves to pay their respects.
It was a horrendous tragedy, and it's so nice that all the citizens of Bristol came out to do this beautiful tribute for the officers, and we will always remember their courage and their bravery.
This tribute also calling for forces beyond this world to watch over their souls.
These 2 young men, because of their story and how good they were, is still very raw. Our feelings, of grief, but gathering together here has been great because then we are together with hope, even in the midst of grief.
And this week is particularly raw for the families of those fallen heroes. They are asking for privacy at this time. In Bristol, I'm Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Tonight, teammates are honoring the life of Windsor High School football player Elijah J Mariano.
Yeah, it's a story we first brought you on the Fox 61 News at 5. But following his on-field collapse and death during practice, we are also taking a deeper look at student athlete safety here in Connecticut. Fox 61's Matt Karen has our story.
He just fell, but our coach thought he was playing.
The tragic on-field collapse and death of Windsor High football guard Elijah J Mariano Rivera brought back memories of Damar Hamlin's collapse in the NFL.
Anytime you have a collapsed athlete, it is truly an emergency, and seconds do matter.
Hamlin's collapse was contact related. Eli's wasn't. And we don't know what may have contributed to Eli's death. But what we do know is his coaches sprang into action.
We start the season, and our coach started texting his heart and his thing, and then, ambulance came, all types, we all had the prayers.
All of our coaches are first aid and CPR certified and trained.
It sounds like they did everything they could possibly do from the CPR perspective.
Dr. Arliss Mayer is the chair of Connecticut Sports Medicine Society, but she's also a mom who knows how hard it can be to get funding for athlete safety.
As a parent, I've been on the sidelines at bake sales just trying to get enough money to get, cleats for the kids. And in some school districts, you can't even get that. But yes, there should be more funding around the safety of the students.
This year, the Windsor Warriors were fortunate to get $10,000 from the New York Giants to help enhance safety and equipment. But the head of the agency governing Connecticut high school sports says money won't solve everything.
We could put as much money there as we want, but I think the key to providing the best critical care as possible is to trying to have athletic trainers as available as we can.
The Windsor Public Schools is currently hiring for the position of athletic trainer, the profession facing a nationwide shortage.
It was no joke, man. He just twitching and stuff, and the coach just called 911.
No one can speculate whether anything could have been done to prevent the Windsor tragedy. CAAC says they plan and prepare for emergencies as much as possible.
I believe every public school in Connecticut does have an AED. Many schools have multiple AEDs. So, within your emergency action plans, it would talk about, the process in that of what the protocol is, who calls 911, who gets the AED.
And the state medical examiner will ultimately be the one to determine how Eli died and what, if any, factors contributed to his death. But for tonight, the focus remains on honoring and remembering a young life taken too soon. We're live in Windsor. Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Matt, thank you. Very tragic story there. A 28-year-old was hit and killed by a dump truck in Fairfield today. Police say it happened just after 7 this morning in the area of Camfield and Bloomfield Drive. The 28-year-old pedestrian was pronounced dead on scene. Police have not released their identity at this point, and right now the driver of the dump truck has not been charged. The crash remains under investigation.
The search continues for several stolen vehicles worth a combined $380,000. They were stolen from a dealership in South Windsor. The surveillance video shows 4 cars, including a Porsche, being taken from Mike and Tony Auto Sales on Route 5. South Windsor police say it happened around 1 in the morning. Police say multiple thieves entered by breaking a window and stole the vehicles out of the garage from the main building.
The Porsche is the crazy one. The Porsche was my dad's pride and joy. That was his own personal vehicle. These thieves they're very clever in the way that they access your building. They a lot of them scope out the building during the day. They come in, pose as customers.
Police say one of the stolen vehicles was used to ram the front gate open and then abandon on Edwin Road. Tracking hardware is in one of the cars, and that put it in New York City early this morning. We're in the middle of a string of nice days across the state. We're not complaining, and another very pleasant day out there tonight.
Very beautiful fall weather. The leaves are changing outside. All you need now is a day off. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now with more, right?
And the good news is it's not a weekend washout when you're thinking about those days off, although we do still have some rain in the forecast for this weekend. Right now in the capital city, we're starting to see that golden hour glow here overlooking Hartford at 66 degrees. We did battle some clouds this morning. I think it is a sunnier day overall tomorrow. 63 right now in Chester, and we're also in the lower 60s for Waterbury. A storm to the north of us, you can see it pinwheeling and spinning here, will stay to the north, so we are not concerned with any showers associated with it. Heading towards the news at 10, temperatures are in the low to mid 50s, and by daybreak tomorrow, we are once again waking up to 40s on your way out the door. But bright sunshine to greet you, blue skies through the day tomorrow, calm wind to start, winds out of the west at about 5 to 10 by afternoon, and we're looking at high temperatures that'll be in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. Not bad. It will be a few degrees cooler on Friday, but we do stay dry. And then we'll talk about the changing weekend forecast, where it's wet and where there's some hope coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Well, new tonight, House Republicans have selected Majority Leader Steve Scalise to be the next Speaker of the House. Scalise edged out Jim Jordan by a 113 to 99 party vote behind closed doors. A full House vote on the House floor is still needed, though, to confirm the selection. Scalise must receive a majority vote from all House members to take the gavel. Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy was ousted from the role last week. It was the first time in U.S. history the House removed its leader.
Now to Israel, as fighting continues, Israeli lawmakers have formed a new unity government and war cabinet split between supporters of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and opposition leader Benny Gantz. Fox's Mike Emanuel has more.
Alert Start sirens ringing once again in northern Israel as night falls on the 5th day of fighting. Israel getting a big political boost Wednesday with the announcement of a new unity government and war cabinet split between supporters of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and opposition leader Benny Gantz. It's an agreement underscoring the solidarity across Israel following the deadly Hamas attacks.
We are united, right, left, Orthodox, non-Orthodox, that we have to win this battle and obliterate Hamas.
And it's looking more likely that Israeli forces will be going into Gaza, trying to end the Hamas threat once and for all. Troops in armor are massing at the border, waiting for the order to attack, which is believed to be imminent. And a Fox reporter on the ground saw artillery softening the battlefield, a common tactic before a ground assault. President Biden says the military aid will keep flowing as the Israeli counteroffensive ramps up.
My commitment to Israel's security and the safety of the Jewish people is unshakable. The United States has Israel's back.
Meanwhile, Israel is keeping up its air assault, flattening entire neighborhoods in Gaza. There's now a severe shortage of food, fuel, and medicine, and officials are warning a major humanitarian crisis is emerging.
We no longer have the basic needs for life here. Life has ended in Gaza.
President Biden spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu for the second straight day on Wednesday, reaffirming his support for Israel. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Back here at home, Waterford police are looking for a woman they say made fraudulent withdrawals from several banks in the area. Police sharing these photos. They say the woman was driving a white Chrysler Pacifica. She is accused of making more than $20,000 in fraudulent withdrawals from various Citizens and Charter Oaks banks. Anyone who can help identify the woman should call police. And the former Hartford police officer arrested for allegedly falsifying traffic tickets appeared in court this morning. Michael Fallon was arrested last week on forgery and perjury charges, which are felonies. This comes after an internal affairs investigation found that during traffic stops, Fallon incorrectly reported the driver's gender 12 times and their race 19 times. It also found he failed to properly tag evidence and failed to properly operate his body camera. Fallon is due back in court next month.
A group of demonstrators rally outside Aetna and United Health in Hartford, calling on insurance companies to put people over profits. The group held signs and marched from Farmington Avenue to Asylum Street, urging the companies to reverse denied claims for patients. Demonstrators say the companies focus on making massive amounts of money while people are suffering. Just recently, the state launched Array RX, which is a discount prescription card. Demonstrators say that program just puts a Band-Aid over a larger issue.
The way it was designed was to make money, not to provide health care. You shouldn't have to look for discounts. The medicine should be a reasonable price to begin with, and your insurance should pay for it.
This protest is one of others in the U.S., people calling on insurance companies to stop massive profit margins. There are more than a dozen events scheduled across the country to highlight the same message. We reached out to the companies, but are still waiting to hear back.